Hi everyone, I'm so excited today because I have someone I call Pastor B in the
Woo,
house.
yay!
BOLA MATEL OKOH, welcome. I'm so
Thank
excited to have
you.
you.
Thank you for having me. I'm so humbled.
We've been wanting to do this for a little bit.
I know, right? Yes, yes.
I'm
I'm
so glad
so
we at least
happy.
we
Yeah,
finally go around to do it. Thank you
yes,
so much
yes,
for being
yes,
here. I'm
yes.
so grateful. I'm so excited because today's episode is talking about the excellent you.
Excellent. My favorite topic.
Your favorite topic. So I want to encourage you, if you're listening, if you're watching right now, don't listen alone. Grab a girlfriend,
Mhm,
call your
mhm,
colleague, your
mhm,
neighbor, whoever you
mhm.
have to grab
Yes,
some
yes,
popcorn,
yes,
some
yes,
water, whatever you need
yes,
to grab,
yes.
and join us on this
Grab your
conversation.
popcorn. Yeah, like they
I
say.
know
Grab your
whatever.
popcorn.
It's going to be a phenomenal conversation. I'm so looking
Oh,
forward to it.
wow.
But before we go in, I have to read your bio because that bio is beautiful. I want people to know who my guest is
Oh,
today.
wow.
So let's get into this. Guys, just listen in on this incredible bio. So, BOLA MATEL OKOH is an attorney with over 30 years' experience in diverse areas of judicial science, encompassing legal research, investigation of cases, adjudication of client claims, and transaction of client business. An effective facilitator, she possesses a strong client focus and a genuine commitment to achieve established objectives. Abolale holds a LLB Honors degree in law from the Olabisi Onabonjo University and is admitted to the Nigerian bar as well as the New York State Bar. She started her career in the banking sector as a legal assistant in the United Commercial Bank, Lagos, Nigeria, before proceeding to legal practice both in Nigeria and the United States of America. Her legal experience spans the areas of admiralty law, immigration law, as well as participating in the final phase of a multi-billion insurance class action litigation. Her increasing real estate portfolio piqued her interest in the market, which led her to enroll in the internationally renowned Wechert School of Real Estate, where she obtained her real estate license and gained valuable insight into the global real estate market. In 2015, she was appointed as a non-executive director of Wema Bank PLC. She is well trained in the effectiveness of corporate boards, risk management, and advanced strategy for directors. She has attended training seminars at IMD in Lausanne, Switzerland, INSEAD in Fontainebleau, France, as well as Harvard Business School in Boston, USA. We're still going with an intense desire to be a beacon of hope globally. She attended the Gemstone Leadership Institute's Executive Coaching Certificate Program, where she became a certified executive coach. Today, she is the CEO of Havila Ventures, an entrepreneurial outfit which encompasses business in real estate, corporate branding, and the health and wellness sector. She is the owner and managing director of Air Lounge and Spa, where excellent customer service and satisfaction are of paramount importance.
Yeah.
She is also the associate pastor at the Redeemed Christian Church of God, Jesus House, New Jersey. Pastor B, as she's fondly called, is a woman of great passion and tenacious spirit. She is committed to encouraging women and challenging them to live up to their God-given potential. She is a firm believer that the excellence of God should be reflected in every area of our lives and constantly strives to attain this in everything she does. She is the host of the Excellent Life podcast, a podcast designed to inspire, motivate, and challenge you to live a life of excellence. She has been married for 28 years to Pastor Matthew OKOH, and they have 3 sons. She is an advocate for strong Christian marriages. Somebody give Pastor B a hand. Wow. Reading that bio, I'm like, okay.
Oh,
Wow,
wow,
that's
wow.
beautiful. That is just
Who is
beautiful.
that person, by the way?
I wonder.
Even me, I'm wondering, like, who
I
is that
know.
person?
But you know what I always say to people when I read their bio? I always say, okay, I've read that that long bio. Can you now informally tell us who is, I'll call you BMO, Pastor B, who is she beyond the bio? Just
Okay, I love to enjoy life. I'm a sports enthusiast. I love sports. I love
you have three
basketball.
sons.
I love tennis. So, and I'm being known to get very excited and emotionally involved in my teams. Our favorite players, my children always make fun of me. That mommy, please.
What team do you support?
Funny for basketball, the San Antonio Spurs.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I always say I don't live in Texas, but I think I started really developing an interest in them when what's his name? The Admiral. This guy was there. He was a minister in his church, and he just
okay.
I can't even believe I forgot it. And I just like their team persona. They're very, very, very understated. They don't have any drama. They just get it done.
Which you don't find in a lot of the teams.
Yes, they just get it done. I love their coach. I love their team ethics. So yeah. So yes, the San Antonio Spurs. Yes, David Robinson. That's
okay. Yes,
okay. David Robinson. He when he played for the Spurs, he was a minister in his church, and he was actually the first basketball player I heard quote the Bible, and I was like, whoa!
Wow.
That's just how I started supporting them.
Wow, that's great to know. So you already started sharing your fun facts, because my next question is gonna be, give us share 2 fun facts with us. We know you're a sports fan.
I don't know if this is a fun fact, but I'm very competitive.
Okay.
My children always make fun of me that I just take things very seriously. I don't want to lose, whether you're playing a board game.
You remind me of my first son. He's like, Mommy, no, I have to win all the time. They can't be lose.
But recently, honestly, I started to kind of reevaluate my competitive streak. Because I attended a seminar the other day, and they were talking about how you should be the very best version of yourself, but you don't necessarily have to be the best of everybody.
Of everybody else.
So yeah, but I have been known to be very competitive. So.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, we'll take that as a fun fact, and you're a sports enthusiast as well.
Yes, absolutely.
So today we're talking about the excellent you. I believe it's such I don't even know. It's really talk about the excellent you. But I'm really curious, because when I listen to your podcast, your depth with excellence is so real. And I thought that we have to know the journey behind what led you to start talking about excellence, and even having a podcast on excellence.
It's so interesting that when you ask me that question, because I just told you I'm very competitive. So it's that competitive drive that has pushed me towards excellence. Because like I said, from a very young age, if I wanted to do something, I wanted to stand out in doing it.
Wow.
So I guess that mindset of wanting to excel and stand out is really what has, propelled me on this journey of wanting to talk and live the excellent life. I remember even when I was in secondary school, I mean, the way I would make my bed, because then they used to trade our beds. So I used to make my bed so well that my room prefect, when I was in, I think Form 3, came to me and said, you know what, Balale, start grading all the beds.
Because your bed was the standard.
My bed was always, it was always a 10. So, it just everything, whether it's musical chairs, I just really want to do well, like I said. So I guess that competitive streak in me, and at times my children think, oh, maybe you have OCD. I'm like, it's not OCD, because I feel like when I come into the house and something's out of place, I'm like, why is this out of place? Because I honestly feel there's a place for everything.
Yeah,
there's a place for everything. So and so that really has been my journey of excellence. When I was in school, I wanted to do well in class. I remember the one time that I came back and I think I was third in my class, and I was crying, and my sister was like, "For real?
Like seriously?"
She was like, "Seriously?
You came third?
Oh my God, I can't believe I came third." So But yeah. So, but that's it's really what it is. That's been the journey. Like I said, now I'm kind of getting a different mindset that okay,
Mm,
and I always tell people when you talk about excellence, really, it's just about doing your best, and
yeah,
that's what I always try to tell myself. I ask myself all the time when I'm doing things, is this the very best you can
yes.
do? And every time I answer that question with no, I challenge myself to do my best.
Mm,
And
mm,
that's really what the Excellent Life podcast is all about, to inspire you, to motivate you, to challenge you to be the very best version of yourself.
wow, 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 wow. You've kind of taken it there because I was actually going to ask you. I was going to say so. When we're talking about excellence, but some people might not really even know what that word excellence means
Yeah, yeah.
because it's people say it sometimes, but they don't really understand. I
Mhm.
know the God that we serve is an excellent God. Like everything, even with him, like you said, everything should have a place. Even
Mhm.
with him, everything has a place. Everything has a time.
Absolutely.
So if we are going to explain to like a layman, what is so excellence is really just talking about being the best of you.
You said it, and that's always one of the things I say, that the Bible says God is excellent in all his
Yeah,
ways. And we have the DNA of God. I always say that as a
yeah,
child of God,
hmm,
you have the DNA of God. And I remember when I was growing up, I talked about this in the very first episode of the podcast about how my mom, every time she gave us a chore to do and we were kind of slacking around, she would be like, I did not give birth to a lazy child. And when she would say that thing, we would laugh. But years down the line, God would give me the revelation of what she meant. So what he was saying is that a child that I have given birth to cannot be lazy because I'm not lazy.
that's how
Because
God is as
yeah.
well.
So and that
Hmm.
was what she was trying to the message she was trying to say to us, that look, you can't, if I'm the one that gave birth to you, you
You
cannot.
have my DNA.
You have my DNA.
Yeah.
You have no excuse to be lazy. And I always say that in the same way, as children of God, we have the seed of God,
Wow.
the DNA of God. So excellence should be our way of
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Excellence should be our second nature,
Yeah.
because that is the way that
Mm,
God is excellent in all his
yeah.
ways. And
Mm,
so if we are, Bible says we are gods. People
yeah.
always feel
Yeah.
very bashful about that scripture, but that's what the Bible
Mm-mm.
says. We
That's
are
what.
gods.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's almost like we're mini creations of God
Hmm.
put on this earth to operate the way that God
He.
operates in heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That really explains it. That really does explain it when you say it that way. But what do you think are some of the factors that hinder people from
Yeah.
living that excellent life? Because fine, they have more within them, they have excellence within them. But
Mhm.
what are some of the factors that you think hinder us from actually now exhibiting that
I think
excellent life?
the number one factor is that a lot of people don't even know their potential or their capabilities. You can only operate on
Hmm.
the level that you know.
No.
So if you don't even have an understanding that as a
Hmm.
child of God, you are the seed of greatness and excellence in you, you will continue to operate on a mediocre level. So the first thing I always say is that you have to have a knowledge of who you are. Because I remember, even my own personal experience when I got married very young. I got married at the age of 24. And at that time, my husband was already a pastor. And I remember that I just could not see or myself as a pastor's wife, not to talk of a pastor.
Preach
And
it.
I was struggling until the day God said to me, you need to begin to see yourself the way that I see you.
Wow.
And that knowledge of who I was, it was almost like an awakening that, wait a minute, I can do this.
Yeah.
So many times we are limited by our own knowledge of who we think we are, not who we are, who we think we
Mm.
are.
Yeah.
And so we need that revelation of who we are in Christ to be able to propel ourselves to begin to do the things that God has already put in us, that He has given us the ability to do. So that is the very first thing, that we need to understand who we are. The second thing is that I feel like that at times we lack sufficient motivation. For some
Mm.
reason, some people even know who they are, but they just cannot find that motivation or the drive to be able to do what they need to do. And that's where,
Hmm.
I always say that um, you don't have to wait for people to inspire you. You
Yeah.
don't have to wait for people to motivate you. You,
Yeah.
you can dig inside of you and find some level of encouragement or motivation. It's just like when you say that, at times you are tired, you don't feel like doing things.
Yeah.
But when you are committed to what
Hmm.
you do, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Commitment
Commitment.
that you make towards something is what will give you the motivation and drive. And I
Yeah.
always say to people, if you are struggling to do something, just make a commitment.
Yeah.
Make a commitment. And you'll be amazed that when we say some things, because Bible says the power of life and death is in our
Is
tongue.
it at
When
home?
you say some things, that when you say I want to do, that's why affirmations are so powerful.
Yes.
Because when you
Yes.
say
Yes.
something, there is a message is sent to your brain, number one. And
Mm.
then also there is an ability that is released into your words to be able to help you to do the things that you have said.
Wow.
So when you have an understanding of who you are, when you are able to motivate yourself and inspire yourself through the word of God, there's really nothing you cannot do.
Wow.
That's why at the end of every podcast, I close with affirmations because
Mm.
I've realized that, you know, as a man thinks, so he is.
Please. Yeah.
Whatever you say, there is a power because, I said we are created in the image and likeness of God. When God was going to create the heavens and the earth, the Bible said he spoke. It was the
Yeah.
spoken word. And it was
Mhm.
that spoken word that received the power to bring those things into manifestation. So when God said, let there be light, that spoken word, as
Yeah.
soon as it went out of the mouth of God, there was power that was released to that word to
Mm.
bring those things to pass. So in the same way, we have that same, we are made in the image and likeness of God. So when we say things, there's a power that is released to bring those things to pass.
Mm.
So we must be able to motivate ourselves by saying, first, you understand who you are, you make a commitment to do something, and then you begin to motivate yourself and speak those things into reality. Bible says that faith speaketh call it the things that be not
That's what they were. Mm.
as though they were.
Wow.
So, and I always say that, parents, we have to be careful the things we say to our children.
Yeah.
Husbands,
Mm.
you have to be careful the things you say to your wife. Wife, you have to be careful because
Mm.
the words that we speak are so powerful.
Yes.
There are times that you'll be saying to your child, you are just saying, this child, you're just so lazy, and then you wonder why the child is so lazy. That's what you've been saying to him for or
And
after.
then we see it playing out in the life of
You
the
see it
child.
playing out.
Yeah.
You see it
Mm.
playing out. So I think that if we have that mindset and we are very intentional about
Yeah.
the way we live our lives, then those are the things that will make us to excel and to stand out.
Mm.
Intentionality.
Yeah.
Intentionality. Everything about living an excellent life is very, very intentional. Today,
Yeah.
we're talking on my podcast about how we have to have a routine. There's a saying that practice makes perfect. So
Hmm.
when you keep working on things, you're doing things in an
Yeah.
intentional way, you are going to excel in doing those things.
Wow. 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 Understand who you are.
Yes, yes,
Make a commitment. Begin to speak to yourself. Affirm yourself.
yeah, absolutely.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much for that. Those are powerful. Mm. I'm just pondering on the on the points that you shared. It's interesting that you don't realize the depth of excellence. But as you
Mm,
were speaking, I was like, wow, you are so right.
yeah,
Wow, wow,
yeah.
wow. In one of your podcasts, I remember listening, and then you mentioned you connected greatness to excellence.
Mm, mm,
I want us to kind of go there. What is the because a lot of people want to be great, but they don't
yeah.
want to be excellent.
Yeah, it's so interesting because that podcast was actually the last podcast, and that was a tribute podcast to the Queen. Who I
Yeah.
always say that I have such admiration for, especially
Mm,
we have the same type of personality. We're both the same
personality. Mm.
personality. So, and like I said, it was so interesting because somehow I found myself in the UK at the time of the week.
Oh, when she passed. Wow.
Yes, so I saw firsthand. And I
Mm.
remember
The
just
honor and everything.
yes, and I just in fact, I was sharing to someone like, no wonder it's called the Great Britain because of
Yeah.
the
Oh,
level of
that's true.
excellence. Because
Mm.
when we talk about greatness, what is greatness? Greatness is being distinguished, is
Yeah.
standing out. And
Out.
it was like
Mm.
everything they did just stood out, And so I said, and it's so interesting because as when I was, finishing up the podcast, it just came to me and I just wrote it. I said, the pursuit of excellence, when you are committed to the pursuit of excellence, greatness will come.
Will come.
Because
Mm.
many times people will say, I want to be great.
Yeah. But they don't want to be excellent.
Process. It's a
Yeah.
process. So I talked earlier about commitment, about being
Mm.
committed to a task or whatever you
Mm.
want to do. So when you are committed to the pursuit of excellence, one day somebody will just say to you, oh my God, this person is great.
Mm.
But that greatness did not come overnight. It
Yeah.
was a result of an intentional journey,
Yeah.
pursued to
Mm.
excel.
Mm.
Because
Mm.
I was looking at all the, because the procession passed in front of us, and just
Mm.
precision, the
Everything was.
everything was. I mean, it was amazing. And I thought to myself, this did not come overnight.
Mm-mm.
It did not come overnight. Some of the routines that they went through for the Queen's funeral are things that have been done for
So,
hundreds of years.
yeah.
So greatness is a process.
Mm.
It's a process of pursuing excellence consistently and diligently that will cause you to be great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. 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 Greatness is a process. So, people, are you listening?
Yeah.
So, it kind of means that wherever we are right now, because somebody listening to us might be saying, but where I am right now doesn't really look like much is happening. I want us to kind of just speak to that woman listening, watching, saying,
You know,
where I am right now is not significant, really.
yeah. I always say something that nobody was born excellent.
Hmm.
Nobody was born excellent, but the seed is there. So you cannot look at where you are and begin to say, oh, I'm not excellent. If you realize and come to the place of understanding that I have a part to play, I have a part to play. It's just like when you want to grow anything, you put a seed in the ground. You can't just put the seed in the ground and just go away. And then one day you come, you think you have to water the seed.
Yeah.
You have to nurture the seed.
Mhm.
So the first step of getting to a place of excellence is to make a decision that I want to live an excellent life. That is the very first thing. I want to live an excellent life. And then now make a commitment to live that life. So when you make that commitment, you will realize that there are certain things that you have to do to be able to live the excellent life.
Mm.
I always say that my children, there were so many things that when they were small, I was trying to get them to do. And initially it was a struggle because, you know, we're not human beings. We don't like to, we don't, we just like to stay the way we are.
Yeah.
So, but there are times that you have to, kind of push yourself to do things that you don't feel like doing. But
Mhm.
the good news is that once you start to do those things consistently, it becomes second nature to you. So it gets to a point that you don't even think there are things I do now that some people would actually have to plan to do,
Yeah.
that it's not even, I don't even think about it because it has become second nature to me. So
Mm.
for that person who is saying it's baby steps,
Yeah.
it's baby steps. I was in a coaching session the other day, and I was talking to someone, and they were like, "Oh, I was trying to do something, and then I realized I wasn't doing it well." I said, "But do you know even that is progress?
Yeah.
The place of awareness to think that, oh my God, I'm not doing this thing as well as I
It's
want.
progress.
Progress."
Yeah.
And they
Mm.
were like, oh my God, I never thought about it that way. Yes. So for that person that is even sitting there home now and saying, oh my God, but I don't even, I'm not even excellent, there's an awareness. So the place of awareness is actually progress, because it is from a place of awareness that you can begin to make that first step and commitment to begin to get on the journey of excellence.
Mm. Wow.
If you're listening to this podcast, you are watching this podcast now, you have gotten to a place of awareness, which is
Yeah.
really the starting point. So now the next step is to say, you know what? I've listened to this podcast today. I'm going to make a commitment to live the life of excellence.
Mm.
And then that you begin to build. You begin to build. No house was built in a overnight. It takes, just putting one block at a time, one block
Yeah.
time. And before you know it, you're going to look and be like, oh my God, look at what I've built.
Hmm.
But it's about awareness, it's about commitment, it's about putting in the work.
Yeah. Oh, go there, putting in the work. Sometimes we don't want to put in the work, do we?
There's no shortcut. I always say that there's no
Yeah,
shortcut to excellence.
there
There's no
isn't.
shortcut.
Hmm.
It's you have to put in the work. But
Yeah.
I always say that when you put in the work, it's so rewarding. It is so rewarding when
Yes.
you put in the work and you see the results of putting in the work. It's really so rewarding. So there's no shortcut. You have to just, and that's part of the commitment that, you know what, I want to excel. I'm going to be committed to do what it takes to excel. And then you put your head down and you get to work.
You are so right.
Yeah.
Wow. And I
Yeah.
love that scripture that said that seest thou a man diligence in his ways. Another version will say a man that excels
Yes. Yeah.
in his ways. He won't stand before mean men, he'll stand before kings.
Things. Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Yeah.
you want to get there, you want to see that you want to stand before kings. We have to be ready to put in the work.
Oh, we have to be ready to put in the work. I mean, one of the things that, really struck me, because during the Queen's funeral, and people were talking that even King Charles at
Hmm.
73, he didn't miss a beat. Oh, working with, these are soldiers that is their job. That was, even his sister, they did not miss a bit
And he had been living his whole life for that moment. His
because
whole
they
life for that
understand
moment.
that greatness.
Yeah.
Excellence, greatness is
Hmm.
excellence, and it was just everything was it was
Because
amazing.
the short frame of time with between when she died and they buried her and
No,
everything
no, no, no,
was.
no. It's not a short frame of time. You
Hmm.
know what? I had to do. You need to go listen to that podcast. Because people think that it was just 1 week. They had been planning that funeral since the year after she became queen, over 70 years ago.
No,
So
when I say it's a short
yeah,
frame of time,
yeah,
it looks
yeah.
a short frame of time,
It looks
but
like,
because of the excellence, they
the
had
excellence.
prepared all that
Oh,
while.
they were preparing. They had been preparing. Preparation had been going. They were having 3 meetings a year just to go over the details. Or do we need to tweak the details? Because at the end of the day, they understand that that is the process of excellence. So the whole world, all of us are looking at them and they're like, "Oh my God, look at this!" But trust me, they put in the work. They
Hmm.
put in the work.
And
So
you just mentioned something so key there also, preparation.
preparation. Yeah.
Sometimes there's times where, like I always tell people, I said the stage is not a place to prepare.
No.
And if you don't prepare before you get to the stage, you're going to mess up.
I tell you something even a bit
Hmm.
more deeper. If you do not prepare, you will not even have the opportunity to get to the
Hey, to get to the stage.
preparation is what gives
Hmm.
you opportunity.
Opportunity,
I'm
yes.
telling you. A lot of
Hmm.
people say, "Oh, how come this person got this opportunity? I didn't," because they've been
They were
preparing.
prepared. Yeah.
And the thing about preparation more times is that people prepare in secret.
Yeah.
So you can't see
Yes.
their preparation.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden you see them in a position and you're like, how did this
Mm.
person got there? Because they've been preparing. They've been
Yeah.
preparing.
Mm.
They've been
Mm.
preparing. You have to prepare. You have to
Wow.
prepare. I I'm a
Wow.
pastor, so I know about that.
Yeah.
That you have
Mm.
to prepare. There are times that God will give me the grace to be able to go on stage on a Sunday without having to
Yeah. Without
prepare.
having prepared
And
right
it's not
there.
even because I
Mm.
don't want to prepare. It's because God said, trust me today.
Mm.
Because it's happened to me a few times that I was
Yeah.
I was trying to prepare for a message and I could not even just make
Mm.
any headway. And
Mm.
eventually I heard the Holy Spirit said, why don't you just trust me this time?
Wow.
And I remember I shared this with my husband. I'd never gone to church on a Sunday, going to minister without having.
Without having notes.
But that was an instruction God gave me that
Mm.
time. So, but the point is that someone said if you do not prepare, if you do not plan to, if you do not plan, if you do not make a plan, you are planning to
Trying
fail.
to fail. Yeah.
So if you fail to plan, yes,
Plan
if you fail to plan, you are
you're planning to fail. Yep.
so there must always be a plan. There must always be a time of preparation because that is only way you're going to be able to excel and do things in a way that is excellent.
Wow, excellence is deep. People, we want to hear more. You're going to have to go listen to the to the Excellent Life podcast. She has at least 16
Yeah.
episodes, but the episodes are always
Actually,
so
we are on
rich.
episode 19. Today we filmed episode 19.
Episode 19.
We're still a long way from 69, but we're
Oh,
getting
wow.
there through
Yes,
consistency and
it's the
diligence. Yes,
consistency. And
consistency.
that's also a key thing that you've mentioned in in living the excellent life. Consistency. We feel like we don't feel like we put in the work.
Yeah, we
We
put in
just show up.
like my coach said today, you have to show up.
You,
You gotta
man,
show up.
that showing up is the. There are so, I can't even tell you how many times I don't feel like
You have
showing up.
to show up.
People see me online, but they don't know what is happening behind the scenes.
Yes.
I remember the month of August was tight. We had moved house. My first son was traveling. We had so many things to do, and recording podcast was hard. Like,
Mm.
when you've moved everything. So I didn't even have like a studio. I didn't have my. Normally, I love to record with my bookshelf, and everything was down. So it was now okay. What are we gonna do? So I had to improvise. I couldn't have guests, but I could
Mhm.
record myself. But it was hard. But guess what? Kept me going during those months. There was a day that I was recording like 10 p.m. I was like, what am I doing? But I had to record the podcast. I didn't have that day. I was
Oh,
tired. There were bags under my
oh,
eyes, but I'm
wow.
like, we're
Yeah.
showing up. It doesn't matter. But once I sat down to record, I was good.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's just that commitment.
Yeah.
It's just really that commitment. I remember the 2 episodes ago. I was like, God, I promised myself, and like I just felt like I would even let myself down if I didn't do it. I
Yes.
would feel like I
Yes.
let myself down because I'm like, Olani,
Mm.
you made a commitment. You
Mm.
made a commitment, and some people will say, "Oh, but it's not a commitment to anybody." But I
Oh, boy,
know
it is to
it
yourself,
is
and you
to
feel bad when
myself.
you don't
And I
keep
was like,
it.
"Oh my God!"
Yeah.
Even, and I remember my husband said to me that, Bolani, don't worry. Even if your podcast comes out on Wednesday, even if it's going to come out on Thursday, just make sure you do it. And that
Mm.
was my mindset.
Yeah.
And somehow, that Wednesday before midnight, I was able
It
to
came
do it.
out.
It was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. 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 You've
Absolutely.
given us so many nuggets. What would your last words be?
My last words for living the excellent life is that I always say that don't knock yourself too hard. A young lady, one of my mentees,
Mm.
asked me, we're having just a nice lunch, and she was like, "What would you say to your younger self?" And I said,
Mm.
I would say to my younger self, don't be too hard on yourself,
Yourself.
because at times we're so hard on ourselves,
Yeah.
and I think that actually stalls us from making progress. So
Mm.
but if you understand and give yourself the leeway that, what, I'm human, but I can do better, that is actually a better motivating tool to be able to help you live
Mm.
an excellent life. So you're not doing what you're supposed to do now, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Give yourself a break. But guess what? Make the commitment to start now and do not procrastinate. Because that's the
Mm.
other thing a lot of people do.
Yeah.
They procrastinate. They keep moving the goalposts. You know what? I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I always say there's never going to be a conducive time to do everything
Never.
you want to do. So you got to take the bull by the horns, like
Yeah.
they said, and you're just going to have to be determined to say, you know what, I'm going to do it. And
Yeah.
we talked about today on the podcast how in podcast boot camp we had this saying that perfect not done.
Mm-hmm.
And at times, done not perfect. Sorry, I got it. Done not perfect.
You're not
So there
perfect.
are times that you're going to do things. It's not going to be exactly the way you want to do it, but guess what? Do
You're
it.
still doing it.
That's why Nike they have that logo. Just do
Just
it.
do it. Whether you're doing it afraid, like half of things I do it afraid, but I'm still
Yeah,
doing it.
oh, absolutely. I Do you know how many times I go on stage, I'm petrified. And people always tell me, because when I tell people in church, oh my God, I was so nervous today. They'll be
They'll
like,
be like,
"You? Really?
really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. So, like you said, you do it afraid, but just do it anyway. And
Mm,
you know, with time you will get better. So I just want to
mm,
encourage that person looking now and saying, "Oh, you
mm.
people it's okay for you people to say."
Yeah.
We didn't start this way. Trust
Mm-mm,
me, we
mm-mm,
did not start this way. But like I said, just be committed to the process,
mm.
and you will be on the road to excellence in no time.
Ooh, Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh wow,
That was
thank you for
phenomenal.
having me.
I so enjoyed that conversation. So before we let you go, where can people find you and what
Oh,
do you have going on right now? Any offers, any they can connect to, let us know.
okay, all right. So you can catch the Excellent Life podcast. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's on most podcast platforms, so you can do that. I just got my certification as an executive coach. Yay! So if you can connect with me on Instagram at BOLA MATEL OKOH, send me a DM. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you. And as an executive coach, I'm so passionate about the executive woman. One of the things that we struggle with as executive women is maintaining balance in our life.
Yeah,
And that's really one
yeah.
of my passion, to be able to, work hard. But I always say work hard, play harder, you know.
I know, so that you don't feel like you're walking, the walk
So I
falls on
talk
you.
to a lot of executive women that they're just so burnt out because they're trying to
Mm,
juggle so many things, juggle their career, juggle the home and all that. But I believe by the grace of God that I will be able to help you if you're one of those people saying, how do I juggle all these things? So yes, so connect with me on I'm also on Facebook, the Excellent Life Coach. And I am coming up with a product in December that I'm very excited about. It's called the Women's Lifestyle Hub, and it's just
wow.
a community of women that are so supportive of one another. I always say that there's this narrative out there that women don't support women, and my
Mm,
answer every single time is myth. Because
yeah.
I've been a beneficiary of a lot of women that have supported me
Mm,
in every stage of my life. So the Women's Lifestyle Hub is about building a community of women that will support, build up each other, and challenge each other to do great things. So,
wow, 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 wow. So, guys, look out. Watch out. That's coming out in December. We're
yeah.
excited and we're waiting. And I
Mhm.
want to say thank you once again. Thank you so much, Pastor B. Thank you for that phenomenal. And guys, you can see that that was top notch. Like that was awesome.
Thank you for having me. I so enjoyed. I love talking about this. I told you this is my favorite topic.
We
So
know it's your domain. I always say it's your, our domains
I
are
love,
like where we can talk about
I,
forex. I
I,
talk about it for the
I,
whole day.
I
If I give you
love,
the
I love
chance.
talking about X. I don't think I will get tired of talking about excellence. So yes, yes,
But
yes.
I want to say especially thank you because I think you've started off, you've kind of stirred up something,
Mm.
looking at excellence from a point where we might not never have looked at it. Looking at it
Mm.
that if
Mm.
our Father is excellent, if God is excellent,
Yeah, we have
then we
no
should begin to
excuse.
look at our lives
Yes,
and
yes.
begin to look at areas in which we're not excellent in. It
Mm-hmm.
could be in parenting, it could be in career, it could be, and begin to look at how can I get better in those areas.
Mm-hmm.
And I think for me, that's like the biggest part of it. Looking at ourselves and say, how can I be the excellent me? How can I be the best of me?
And always and remember, as you think that it's within you, it's
Yeah,
all within you.
it's all within you.
It's all within you. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
I
having
know
me.
we're going to have you back again. I definitely am going to have you back.
And we got to get you to the Excellent Life podcast too. So yes, yes, yes.
Thank
I,
you
will-
so
I,
much.
I look forward to having you. So
Yes.
yes, we
But
have
for
to make
now,
that happen. Yes, we
for,
absolutely
for
have
now.
to make that happen.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.